Welcome everybody to today's 1 Million by 1 Million Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. This is our last public roundtable for the year 2012. We have done a lot of roundtables this year. As you can see, we've crossed the 150th milestone, and we welcome those of you who are still in this year. I know a lot of people are leaving for their holidays, but those of you who are here and working with us, welcome. Those of you who are here for the first time, 1 Million by 1 Million is a global virtual incubator, and our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue and beyond by 2020. And it's a Herculean task, as you can imagine, and the only way we would succeed is if you succeed as entrepreneurs. Our entire justification for existence is to help you, empower you, enable you to succeed. We will be recording the roundtable, and you will have that available for later. Now, today is the deadline for our New Year challenge for the first round of applications to come in. So we will be awarding 12 scholarships to 1M1M based on these applications. And by the end of the day today, we need your applications in to go into the next round, which is a voting round on social media, which will determine the finalists. So you are going to need to finish your applications if you haven't yet and hand them in. We see a lot of incomplete applications on the roster right now, and you really literally have another a little over 12 hours, about 15, 16 hours to finish your applications. All right. If you're live tweeting the show, please use hashtag 1M1M, and our two handles are at 1M by 1M, and mine is at Sramana. Feel free to follow those. We will be doing some live tweeting from that. And the other thing that we want to bring to your attention are the YouTube videos. We have a YouTube channel. The link is on your screen, and this recording will also be available on that YouTube channel later on. It will also be available on our blog. So we are going to start with Orbash. Is that how you say your name? Did I say that right?
My last name is Orbach, and my first name is Avram. I know it came out A-Y Orbash. It's Avram.
Okay.
Or Abraham.
All right. All right. So go ahead and let's listen to what you have to say about webbing. What is the business? And we will be working with you first.
Okay, I'm sorry. I read the email of how you wanted people to pitch, and I sent them my slides beforehand. So my slides are not exactly how you want them to be, but I'll pitch the presentation. Okay, webbing is an interest network. The void is, in real life, the way we meet new people usually is we have a common location and a common interest, and it's usually natural in school, in college, coworkers. Wait with the slides. We're going too fast. And online, I feel that it's very hard to meet new and interesting people with who you can collaborate, share, and discuss relevant and interesting content with. And the reason is, next slide, is because today the current model of networking is on the current social networks is that they connect you with your current network of people that you know. And therefore, the type of content that is shared is usually short social updates or 150-character content. But the real content, like forums and blogs, which is where people used to meet online in chat rooms, it's sort of left out of the current model of networking online. And therefore, it's hard to find new and interesting people. And that's why, next slide, we can go to the next. The current social discovery looks like this, where people want to meet new people. People want to have a tool to find new and interesting people, not necessarily to become their friends, but to share, discuss content, and they can't because there's no platform that enables them to do this. And this is where webbing comes in. We can go to the next slide. Webbing is a platform that enables the users to collaborate, share, and discuss content with people you know as well as people you don't know, leveraging your interest graph and not your social graph to find new and interesting people based on common interests and content that you both are interested in. And we do this by, go to the next slide, by instead of networking you with the people you know, we create a network around the content and the interest and the common interests, and that's how we network the people. together. So let me give you an example of how this would be used in real life. We can go to the next slide. So let's say you have a student in Harvard which is interested in brain science. So you come to the platform, say he's interested in brain science, upload his dissertation. We would analyze it and then give him relevant content. And let's say he's stuck on a specific problem and another doctor in some hospital, another student in Cambridge are stuck on the same problem. So they'll all be able to leverage our network to discuss the content together and maybe break through the problem that they had in order to further that content. On a less academic example, let's go to the next slide. Let's say you have a musician from New York coming to Tel Aviv and he wants to jam with locals on the weekend and he doesn't know anyone in Tel Aviv. So he would come into our network, the webbing, and put in jazz, Israel, and musicians, people, and he would find relevant people that have published music in Jerusalem and they'd be interested in jamming with him over the weekend and be able to network with them. So it's essentially we create the location and the location the interest serves as a location and the content serves as the introduction or the common interest. And like that, you can meet new and interesting people online in a natural way. Let me go to the next slide.
I want to ask you a question here.
Yeah.
You are going very diverse. You know, you want people who are interested in jazz to people who are interested in brain science. How do you propose to get these people to come and do what you want them to do?
So I'll get to that in a minute as we continue the slides. I'll explain. That's actually something I'm very interested in discussing with you maybe. So we're using, in order to enable this networking, using a graph database, NoSQL. We're using semantics to analyze people's Facebook pages, and to use that to network them with other people. And we use automatic tagging, so when people publish their information, they don't have to do so much tagging in order for that information to find the right people. And let me just show how it will look, so I can explain our marketing method. We haven't released yet. You can continue going. Not this slide, the next slide. So this is going to be our home page. This is where we network with you with information based on your interests. These tiles will be dynamic, meaning if, let's say, someone's interest is most of their life, so they'll get more content relevant to interests. If someone's work is more prominent, they'll get more content related to work. Work could be also school. So let's say a 10th grader finished his homework and published it to webbing, and then we would network that to other 10th graders that are interested in the same thing, and you would get content from your class or from students around the country that are doing the same type of projects. You can go to the next page. Let's skip to the last page. Do the next page. There's another 2 pages after this. Next page and the next page after this. So this is our profile page. This is I think where we shine. We take someone's Facebook page and we apply our algorithms and we divide it into a social dynamic interest profile, which means that it changes based on the viewer. So let's say me and you have bowling in common, so I'll see the bowling side of you more. Or me, you have work in common, so I'll see the work side of you more. Essentially what we're creating is a social identity online where people can, in real life when we meet a new person, we don't have to get to know them all at the beginning. We usually have something in common, and that's why we became friends. And from there, either we develop our relationship or just stay with that social identity that we have. It's either a parent or a friend or a doctor, whatever. One person could be many different things to many different people. And today online, because Facebook and other networks sort of give you a whole picture of the person, it's very hard to get to know someone in a glance. And this is where we're starting. So we hope to launch this interest dynamic profile within a month. And this is the first step in networking people. And besides launching this, simultaneously we will target 1 or 2 specific interest groups, let's say science or specific science and music, and try to take a vertical approach to them where we allow them to share information and then expand from there. But we hope to get a lot of, at least we think that this is a viral product that's very interesting. It's different than Facebook because it's more, and other online profiles because it's more, how do you say?
Well, go back to my question. How do people find out about this?
So We're starting with this, which we think has an advantage over different networks because it's more visual and it's more content based. So if I'm a creative professional,
how do you find out about it? It's a very specific question. Nobody knows that this thing exists. How do people find out about it?
I've been speaking to a couple of bloggers. I have about 5 or 6 different bloggers in the meantime, and I hope till we launch we'll have a lot more which are willing to sign up and tweet and blog about us. And that's how we hope to get the masses, but we hope to target specific groups, maybe going into colleges in order to share information, and going to specific music communities to share their music, and that we hope to expand from there the interest network.
So my suggestion would be to pick one category and really build a go-to-market strategy around that category. You're going, right now I hear a lot of tentativeness in what you're trying to do. Maybe we'll go into colleges, maybe we'll go into music groups, maybe we'll go into science, blah, blah, blah. I think you need to put a stake in the ground and do the competitive analysis around one category and really go deep into that category. And you can, over time, you can expand that. But if you remember, Facebook started in colleges, and that's all they did. For many, many years, all they did was colleges, and you needed an alum.whatever.edu address to actually sign up for Facebook. They started opening up later, but in the beginning you had to be alumni of a college or not even high school. It was really only college. So those are pretty well-known techniques of positioning companies. We follow them very, very diligently, very methodically. And then the next question that I would have for you, although your time is up, is what is the business model of this thing?
Oh, well, we hope to get a lot of users and figure that out. But we have a couple of ideas. One of the things our algorithm does, but we're not going to start with this, is that we can analyze text and divide it into the right place. So if someone would have a lot of documents, you can upload them to us, and we can actually divide them into work, interests, etc., into specific categories. So essentially, it also would serve as a new filing system for like a Dropbox. So if someone had a lot of files, we can sift it. But we're not starting with that because that's a little bit different than what we're starting with. So we don't have a business model at the beginning. We hope to get a lot of users and then figure it out.
Well, it will take you a long time to get a lot of users. So the next question, follow-on question from that is going to be how are you going to sustain yourself during that time? And don't tell me with angel investors.
Well, we're meeting investors that were interested in meeting us, although we weren't interested in meeting on Monday. But I don't know. We're going to try to look for an investment in the meantime.
I don't think you will get investment with the status of what you've presented today. I don't think you would get investment. You need to tighten this up vastly.
Because it needs to be, I need to go more vertically and target a specific group to get them on?
You need a real strategy. Right now you're presenting some very 30,000-foot level stuff which gives no investor any confidence of how this is going to be. This company is going to get built. And let me tell you another thing. Right now, angel investors are extremely gun-shy. Over the last 3 years, over 100,000 startups have received angel investment, and less than 1,000 a year have. And in fact, the first 2 years, the last 2 years, this year probably it's closer to 1,000. Last 2 years were closer to 500 have received any kind of follow-on venture funding. So the angel investors are extremely gun-shy at the moment. You have to be much, much better validated, much tighter in terms of, you have to launch and get a real story going. This is a kind of, wishy-washy story right now. You have to determine what is it that you're going to do in very specific terms, and so that an investor can sit across from you and get some confidence that, okay, these guys know what they're doing, they've validated their assumptions, and I can go ahead and invest in it, and there's some chance of getting follow-on financing on this. Otherwise, whatever money the angel puts in is going to go into experimentation, and you will not be ready for any follow-on money. The angel is going to have a write-off on his investment or her investment. that is not a situation that angels today are going to sign up for.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
This is the team.
All right. Okay, by the way, Abram, you should take a look at a company called Tagged that has built a $50 million profitable social network based on discovering new friendships.
I know what Tagged is. Thank you.
And the case study is on my blog in graphic detail, so you can look at how they have built their business.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Next up is Yoram Nissenboim. If you could unmute your line, tell us what you're doing.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. I try to follow your instructions and prepare the slide exactly as you requested, and I'll start moving. Here are my personal details. I'm CEO and owner of Calling ID, which is Safe Internet Solution software company, and I'm the chairman of Logification, which I'll talk about today. My experience is mainly in startups. I had so far 7 successful exits in startup operations, and that's my expertise, growing a high-tech company from an idea to an enterprise. Logification started about a year ago. We have today 3 people. We started 5 to decided to retire, and we plan on having a full set of solutions that will be available in January, and our target for market penetration is to start at Barcelona at the Mobile World Conference, which is the largest event in that area. Please, next. Logification is a revolutionary location-based services platform that enables applications that need location-based services continue operation while saving battery power. It means that instead of running the application all the time, the application is almost all the time asleep, and we have an agent that runs in the background on the device, which requires only 25% overhead of battery power, and this agent continuously reports location of the device to a data center. The application lets the data center know about the requirements, which are triggers of approaching specific locations or approaching other devices. When such a device or place is around the device on which the agent is located, the agent gets notification from the data center and wakes up the application that then runs in the way it should run. Next. Next slide, please. Our customers for this solution is first application developers that need location-based notification. And our main value for these developers is that we provide them a unique technology that won't drain the user battery power, lets the application seem to the user as running all the time, although it's sleeping almost all the time. And the development cycle for location-based application is minimized and has many benefits to the way it works today. Second, the customer, go ahead.
What what percentage of like the applications out there on the Apple Store, for instance, or the Android Store, you know, there are hundreds of thousands of apps out there. What percentage of those are suffering from the problem of draining battery power? Location-based applications that are suffering from the problem of draining battery power.
I don't know the percentage. However, if we look at segmentation of applications that need location-based services that we'll see in the next slide, you'll see immediately how these specific applications that run, each of them with many millions of users, need this solution. For example, applications for road notification, like speed trap, application for dating, and here the main target is gays and lesbians that are used to blind dating, and in order to get the blind dating, they need to open the application. Location-based coupons.
Gay and lesbian dating, I don't get it. Any dating would fall in that category, wouldn't it?
Yes, but what we discovered, we tried to talk with dating applications. When we came to gays dating applications, they said, please give us this solution today. We need it. When we talked with other dating applications, the interest was much lower, and here the idea is to go with what I call low-hanging fruit, which means the customers that immediately know that they have a problem because they need the user to open the application in order to run. And all these three types of applications, users don't usually open the application because first, they don't think at that point of time that they need it, and if they do run the application, it drains the battery.
So the way to describe that is not by saying gays and lesbians are your segment or target customers. Dating applications are probably your target segment. Gay and you have
Correct.
found a gay and lesbian application that is willing to work with you in short order. That's the real answer to the question that I asked.
Okay. I'm sure, as you just described, that after we'll penetrate into the dating market, probably through gays and lesbians, the others will follow up. Okay. Can you get back, please? One slide back, please. Back. You moved forward instead of backward.
You want to go back?
More back? Yes, please. Okay, and the characteristics of the applications that we are targeting are applications that are usually closed, although users want them to run continuously, and these are the first two examples. And also applications that usually are closed, but app owner wants them to continuously run, and that's the coupon, for example. Go ahead, please. Next slide. In order to get the first customers, we started preparing sample applications that run both with other solutions and also run with competitor solution. And the best competitor solution that was launched 2 months ago is coming from Google, and our results today show that Google has about 100% overhead, while we have 25% overhead.
Your top this category is Google.
Sorry?
Your top competitor in the category is Google.
At the moment, yes, they launched a solution 2 months ago.
This is very bad news, Yoram.
I know.
They say, Google has tremendous R&D budget. It won't take them very long to catch up with you in terms of performance. And how do you compete? They have the entire App Store, to market to, and they're going to build it into their Android platform as a feature. How are you going to compete with that?
The best way to compete with that is to go one step ahead. And the way we started doing this is we started talking with the chip manufacturer that will let us get directly into the chip.
To the chip?
While to the chipset, working directly with the chipset, not through Android, for example.
So this is a chip, your solution it operates on the chip while Google is operating at the operating system level? Is that the architectural difference?
At the moment, our solution is on top of the operating system. Once we go live, which will be in 2 months, as I said, we plan on the next stage, which will be working with one of the top chipset manufacturers that is willing to let us work directly with their chip, not through the operating system.
I somehow have a hard time believing this, because I think the way this is going to evolve is Google is going to improve their performance at the operating system level, and this is not going to be handled at the chip level. And I just don't see how you go from an application layer to the chip layer. I don't know. I'm just not seeing the technical viability of what you're saying, and from a strategic point of view, I think it's going to be very, very difficult to compete with Google with this strategy.
You know what? Thank you. I take your word, and we'll do some rethinking about it. Thank you.
Think about it. This is actually what you're proposing here looks very precarious to me.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Play Rock. Tamir Rosenblum is up next. Tamir, if you could unmute your line and tell us what you're doing.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, my name is Tamir. Thank you very much for the opportunity to participate in this roundtable session. We're a team of 3. We're based in Israel, and we are planning to release Play Rock publicly by the end of the month, so we're very excited about it. We're currently in limited beta, and we're working with a small group of testers to improve the
Can you speak up a bit? I think we are having some difficulty hearing you.
Can you hear me now? Better?
Better, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So we are planning a public release by the end of the month, and currently we're testing it and having and the state of the app is limited beta and being tested by a small group of testers. So going to the trend, the current trend is that people own more and more smart devices, spend more time in playing games, and playing them everywhere, right? There are 1.1 billion global smartphone subscribers, and they're growing rapidly. The growth last year was over 40% from the previous year, so this is huge. The numbers are huge, but still there is a lot of room for growth. There are expected to be 2 billion smartphone subscribers by 2015. But more interestingly, many people now own more than one mobile devices. So that's the trend with the smart devices. People love to play games, and mobile users spend on the average 77 minutes using their mobile apps on smartphones every day. And playing games, it's 31% of that time. So this is also huge. 31% of the time they're spending using the mobile apps is by playing games.
A very large portion of the revenues, the mobile app revenues, come from games as well.
Right, and in 2012, they're expected to have $12 billion revenues for games alone, and expected to grow to 15 by 2015. People enjoy playing games everywhere, and this is in this. Can you go back? Yeah, the trend. People enjoy playing games everywhere, and in the slide we can see that they are playing in homes, during waiting online, or even at class. Surveys reveal interesting numbers. 83% playing mobile games while waiting for an appointment or online. That's huge. 64% playing at work, and out of 10% playing at work over 1 hour. So that's amazing. 60% are playing while out with friends, and 46% playing while at class. So we're talking about trends that people playing everywhere. And obviously we love
trends, don't you think?
I'm sorry?
These are dangerous trends.
Yeah, it's a dangerous, but that's the trend, and people love to play on the go, and that's the message basically. And more games provide multiplayer options to their games, increasing user engagement. Now, the problem is that our options to choose players for games are limited. That's the fact. For example, most of the games are paired randomly based on availability. You open a game, you choose the multiplayer option, and you're paired randomly. You don't have a choice to pick the player you want to play with. Other mobile games provide the lists with players, with the name of the players, but that's it. No relevant information about the player, and again, you don't have the choice to learn more about the players and pick the relevant player for you. When you meet a person casually on the street, at class, at home, well, at home, but everywhere that you go, when you meet the person casually, you don't really have a simple way to initiate a game together. There are games that chose to have a multiplayer gameplay by having it on the same device. Again, limited, constraining, because it's obviously not really a great fun to use the same device for playing together. So initiating a game, multiplayer game, is obviously something complex, and the player matchmaking has a serious issue right now. On the other hand, for game developers, the market is exploding. There are 1.5 million apps in all the available stores. Developers struggle to get the right exposure for them and to the right crowd, to the gamers, to the mobile players. Again, user engagement, user retention. You succeeded to have the player download your game, but to go back and keep using it and playing it, it's a struggle for developers. Also, specifically for indie developers, it's a struggle to implement and develop the right player matchmaking due to the cost, servers, communications layers that are required. So there is a struggle to invest the right time and money to create the right tools for engaging their users. Okay, so here's where PlayRocks comes in. We developed a location-based gaming network where people can create their own spaces everywhere they go. From left to right, we see some screenshots. When you open PlayRock, you can see the spaces around you. It can be physical spaces that translate into virtual gaming spaces, such as the cafes, bars, anywhere that you go for a hanging out, to hang out, to have fun, or even at class or at home. When you meet two people, the two people meet on the street, they can create their own gaming space and immediately find each other and initiate a game. So when players enter PlayRock, they see all the spaces around them, they join a space, and then they pick a player and a game, and an invite is sent to the other player. The player accepts, and the game opens on both devices for both players and in real time, and they play the game. What we see here is that the games that are associated to each space are native Android games built by other developers. So we are a platform. We're providing an SDK for developers to be able to add their games into our network. And there are multiple benefits for the developers, which I will discuss a little bit later. But we also can take single-player games and transform them into multiplayer games with our infrastructure. So we can help developers to improve their gameplay by putting this infrastructure layers, the communication layers, and all and using our SDK to use our spaces and our groups to initiate a game. Next slide. So the target users, developers, and business venues. But the users there are different types of users. There are the users that create the spaces, and there are the users who just want to join spaces and to play with other people. We anticipate that the target users, for instance, specifically the early adopters who are students, young adults, who will be at classes or any other places that requires interactions with two or more users to initiate a game. We'll also create we'll find that creating a space is a very simple action, and so what I'm trying to say is that the users will be the owner of the spaces, but also will join to other spaces. Developers are the Android native app developers who add their spaces. They use the SDK and adding the games into our network. And the business venues are owners for groups who want to add in their physical locations a space, a gaming space, for their customers, to provide them another entertainment service for their customers. Okay, so next slide. The value proposition for gamers. So there are four big benefits for gamers. One, it's a central place for real-time multiplayer games. Right now, there is no one central place where I am, as a gamer, can go and download an app and play real-time multiplayer games. So we are providing this for the gamers. They know and want to associate the name PlayRock with the conception of with the concept of a central place for real-time multiplayer games. They enter PlayRock, they choose they join a space, and they see a list of multiplayer games that they can initiate with their friends. The concept of groups. The second benefit is the concept of group. There are lots of benefits for showing groups instead of individuals. For instance, associating a concept to a group, a friends in the classroom, a bar, my group at a party. So the concept is associating, the design is associating a concept to a group of people. But more than that, the privacy layer that we put, groups can be personal, groups have passwords, groups have different roles. So providing a very extend privacy layer on top of the groups to allow gamers to have more intimate and more personal game experience. Can you?
We need to speed up a bit because we have more people who will need to present. Going a little too slowly.
The developer position for the developers. So increasing exposure, reaching the mobile government, the right crowd for developers. Once the users have PlayRock, they like to play multiplayer games. They see the other games, even if they don't have the game on device, they send invites to others. Once the player who's next to you or a friend see that, most likely download the game and start the game with you. Virality and in PlayRock to other players, sharing the gaming their gaming experiences and can share it with other with friends and other people. But more than that, we have the robust player matchmaking, the communication between the players. Before you start a game, you can interact with other players inside the group, chat and see if they want to play or not. So we have all this communication and interaction experience even before they start in the game. The ability to enhance gameplay to use multiple devices. We talked about users who have more than one device around them. How about having the gameplay enhanced based and the game will be, the screens will be slightly different based on the devices around you. Showing the game on the screen in the local bar with others playing with the, for gaming experience, students are playing. We have a lot of there's a lot of benefits for developers using our platform to gain exposure and increase engagement. Next slide.
So I'm going to give you feedback here.
Okay.
I like the fact that you're turning a single-player game into. I think that's an interesting value proposition for developers. Who is this streaming talking into the conference call? Can you please put your line on mute? So that part I like. I think that's going to be appealing to developers. The virality is appealing to developers. That would probably draw people into a place like this, and this, what you're talking about, the communication layer between players. Now, we haven't really heard anything about how you do the matchmaking. What is the matchmaking algorithm here?
Okay, so the algorithm is based on the groups. So you see the spaces around you. You join a group, and then obviously the players inside the groups. It's a small group of players, and you can pick one of them and play a game. So the matchmaking is based on the groups and not on the individuals. We believe that having the groups associated with the concept is a better player matchmaking than just seeing a list of the users around you and not being able to pick the relevant one. For instance, you are at school and you have different groups, but the groups are based on class, based on other reasons why they open the group. People know which group they want to enter, and naturally that's the player matchmaking that we are proposing. Initially, obviously, later on we'll be able to add more sophistication even inside the spaces.
Samir, what do you need to get this off the ground? How many developers do you need to get to sign up? How many game developers do you need to sign up to make this an interesting space for gamers to hang out in?
Right, that's a great question because we're debating about it all the time. right now we have dozens of developers that are working to add right now we actually have 8 already integrated with our systems, but we have more developers that are currently working on integrating their games into our network. We believe that we don't need hundreds of thousands of games
No, I don't think so.
Right, so we believe that the magic number is between 25 to 50. We have a very successful conversion rate. Once we talk with an indie developer about PlayRock, 20% of the developers actually going and working to integrate their games into our system. So the conversion rate and the feedback that we're getting from the developers is amazingly positive, and we're very excited about it. There are challenges to reach to those developers. So there are many ways and many channels that we're working right now to reach those developers. But
well, and also be careful about what you go after, because developers, games come in different segments also, you know. The target audience for games comes in different segments. You want to club them as much as possible to get the maximum virality.
Right. That's a great point. And right now, naturally, based on the infrastructure that we have, more puzzles and brain category games, like the games from the brain and puzzles, more interested to integrate with our system. Once we put more emphasis on peer-to-peer communication, then more fast-track games will be interested, and maybe we'll create a different type of spaces.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're going to need to create different types of spaces for these different types of games to hang out, and different segments. You know, there may be casual games that are specifically focused towards women of a certain age group. You want to club them together. You want to club the violent games together and get those guys to interact in one space, because I think the behaviors and the affinities are different, and the matchmaking algorithms would need to be different for each of those categories.
Right, that's true.
Now, the last question I want to ask you, I think we're going to need to move to the next presenter, but what is the business model that you are thinking of?
Right, so we have multiple revenue streams that we're thinking on. One is it's obviously a free app, but we'll have an in-app purchases for the space owners. We anticipate that we are providing features to customize the spaces. So if you have 2 different spaces on the same location, both of them related to class, the space owners, we want to make them, to differentiate their spaces, to provide more features to the people to draw them into their spaces. So we are building features to customize the spaces. That's for users. For developers, we have different premium SDK features. The SDK will provide it for free, but we have different features such as more data allocation. We're providing data for developers, data storage for developers. So we'll provide different packages for developers. In my opinion, the most interesting one is for the venues and business owners that creating the gaming spaces to their venues. We provide different gaming packages to them based on the gaming quota. So if it's a big virtual space and a lot of people are joining in and they want to use the spaces, so based on the quota, they will. It's a subscription based, and they will eventually will pay for our services. There are different.
So here, my gut feeling is that you're kind of moving off center by going that route. It's not clear, and it's going to be expensive to sell to these gaming spaces and business owners and all that. Whereas in the core group that you're catering to, the gamers and the developers / publishers, you know, there may be publishers who have multiple games that they want to put on your system. There is a natural benefit that you're providing to these people is this cross-game virality, people going across games and discovering new games and catering to, or you know, basically you're helping gamers acquire new customers. And I think the business model needs to somehow take that into account, is that you are actually helping market and perhaps even increase the engagement level of their target customer base for the gamers. So my gut feeling is at some point, the gamers should be paying you something.
Right. At some point,
you need
yeah.
to work out, this is going to have to be highly metrics driven, and a business model that needs to be based on pay for performance kind of business models. But if you can work out a good pay for performance business model where you can really show that, okay, we have 25 games, and this game, by being in this community, has got this many more customers, and this is what we're charging for it, and if you can show that level of viral interaction and viral impact across those games, that I think is monetizable.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so that's my overriding feedback. I like what you're doing. I think there's an interesting insight and observation here and I think people are really trying to work with one another. Game developers are really trying to work with one another on how to improve virality, how to do cross-game customer acquisition. So you're playing right into that trend, but you still need to figure out how you set it up so that so that you can monetize the value proposition. I think the value proposition is in tune with what gamers are looking for. Game publishers are looking for.
Great, and we're very excited. We're releasing Playrock by the end of the month, so hopefully we'll reach the right gamers communities, and we'll create this reality to.
And I think with about 25 to 50 developers, you will have a very good experimentation model to test all these things and fine tune what kind of numbers, what kind of virality you're being able to generate, what kind of engagement level, blah blah blah. All that I think is very doable. But my suggestion also would be to go for games that are not free games, that are paid games. People who are trying to make money of their games.
Right. So we are helping the developers to download paid games and increasing their
revenue.
Right.
You can get a percentage of the revenue that you can help them generate on top of incremental revenue by being in your platform. There's potentially an interesting, strong business model there.
That's a great point. Thank you very much.
All right. Very good. Good. I like what you're doing, Tamir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have had 3 presentations from Israel. Now we have one from New Delhi, India. Gaurang Agarwal, what's up? Oh, he's not here. I see. Sorry about that. Return cabs. Swipin George, Kerala, India. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, ma'am. Welcome. Very thanks for attending this conference. I'm around 12, 13 years now in the tourism industry in Kerala. So around 2000, I have a website called beautifulkerala.com. So in that website, it was hitting a lot of visitors in my site, and fully I am dedicated in tourism industry. I have own house boats in the backwaters. I met you 1 month before in Thai Kerala meeting. So that's why I heard about 1 million company. It is inspired me to, I collected your card also. So I think I given my card also to you. Anyway, so in my website in 2000, I added a return cabs. There is a return taxi, empty taxi, anyone can use.
Okay.
So I'm getting a lot of hits, lot of availability, lot of operators are put. It was in a free module, so anyone can put empty taxi. So customer will call the operators directly. So it was a good hit, and a lot of people are getting good benefit for empty taxi. So after 2005, I removed this entire functionality from the beautifulkerala.com. A lot of people are calling me. So sir, I want to use this return taxi. We are getting a lot of benefits. So then I thought, why don't I can make it a exclusive website for doing a return, only for the return taxi. So then around 3-4 years, I researched and market study. Around one taxi getting empty, around 10 to 15 days are empty coming back after the dropping. So I'm giving a platform for this taxi. It is a simple concept, but it is very useful for taxi operators as well as passengers.
So let me try to understand what you're doing here. You're basically.
I'm running tourism industry. I have a houseboat. I'm a tour operator. Like I have a taxi. I'm a houseboat operator in Alapi, Kerala.
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
But that's not what you're talking about here is something to do with a return taxi. So I understand what is happening here. So let's say I'm booking a cab from Cochin to Alappuzha.
Yes. There is an MG taxi, a normal taxi.
Hold on. If you have to stay with me to help me understand it and help the audience understand what you're doing. So if I'm booking a cab from Cochin to Alappuzha, that cab is going to come back empty from Alappuzha to Cochin.
Yes.
And you are saying that you are going to find a passenger who wants to go from Alappuzha to Cochin for that taxi. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
So the passenger can pay 1/3 of the amount from the actual cost.
Okay.
So this is
How many
my
people use
concept.
Service right now?
Sorry, ma'am.
How many people are using the service?
Now around I'm getting registration around now this site is up now. Around 1,000, more than 1,000 operators are registered already. It is now I am giving a free option. Free, everything is free now. Around 3,000 passengers right now. So it is not in Alappuzha.
1,000 passengers are using the product, using the service at the moment.
At the moment.
And everything is.
Everything is free. Everything is I am giving free presently. Because I want to promote this concept to the public, and then after branding, I want to go for a business model. So I think I given a future plan, and I presented to you how can be not in Alappuzha or Cochin. It is all India basis. I am looking all states in India. So mostly all cabs because. Around these timing I am manually doing. So a lot of taxi drivers, taxi owners calling me for a taxi and MG taxi. So I am using to my passengers to giving a cheaper price. So that concept I want to make it a business model.
And
so
who determines the price of the return fare?
It is 1/3. What maybe from Cochin to Alappuzha, the cost is 1,700. It will be 1,700 means divided by 3 equal to 600 rupees chargeable by the return taxi.
Okay.
So this is my concept. So I am because I am getting a lot of calls from different districts in all states. So I can't control because I am fully engaged in the houseboat industry. So I'm getting a lot of calls from different states. So I can't control the requirements for their because I'm planning to give some franchisee model or some business developers to handle the calls and provide the.
An online business. Why do you need to do franchising, and why do you offer even a call? You should make it a complete online service, right?
So I'm planning I'm planning to complete automated things because I'm not well in software or technical things. So I want to develop this concept to the public in a return cabs thing.
So I think you can develop this concept. I think it's an interesting concept. It's a very internet-friendly concept. You could even have a mobile app that does that. So there are lots of interesting ways in which you can build this business. The key question that you need to figure out is, what is the business model? If the cab driver is getting, or the cab owner is getting 1/3 of the price of what he would have made in a full price setting, but the cab would have come back empty, so he wouldn't have made anything, you need to charge him a percentage of that.
So personally, I'm not charging anything. I'm just first
you are not right now, but this is not going to be a business if you don't charge anything. Then there's no point doing this, right? People don't do
correct.
People do business to make money. So you have to figure out how you're going to make money. And
because I want to, 3 years, I'm planning to make it 1 year or 2 years. I want to make it with branding. Then automatically people will come to return cabs to search a vehicle or traveling. Now all the people are calling railway station.
I don't see why you should not start charging right away.
It is not possible, I think, because pay online. Now I am in Kerala, in Alapi. Anyone is traveling from Delhi to Pune or Delhi to Agra. So how can I collect the money present stage? I want to develop my.
Going to be done online. You're going to need to set up an online system. You need to work with technical people who know how to do this kind of stuff, who know how to set up a merchant gateway and stuff like that. This is all very simple stuff.
Yeah, correct. So from
if
your
you don't
side,
know how to
now
do it, it's complicated. It's very simple.
So
I think there is it's a question of building that business and putting the right pieces together. There is there is a very simple monetization model as well. If you take 1/3 of the if the charge of the taxi is 1/3 of the return of the fare, and you charge a percentage of that, let's say you charge 10% of that as commission, there's a very simple business model here as well.
Correct. So in this conference, how you can suggest to promote my concept to as a business?
There's a whole range of customer acquisition strategies that online businesses use, from search engine optimization to guerrilla PR to email marketing. I mean, there's all sorts of things to do. I can't really teach you in 2 seconds the entire field of online marketing, but we do teach that in the program, in the 1M1M program.
Okay. So I'm thinking to.
Sure.
Please.
Okay. Well, I think we have one other person who wants to call in. Talat, are you on the line? I don't think this is a franchise model. This should not be done as a franchise model.
So you are not suggesting to go for a franchisee?
Not at all. This is an online business. You can just do it as a mobile app and an online business. This doesn't need to be a franchise.
Because one of the call from a Marathi customer calling in a Marathi. So how can I handle the call?
You will not.
I thought I can put.
It is going to be an online business.
Okay.
And if you decide that you need to put in a call center, that changes the business model significantly. The cost structure of a business model is that has to handle calls is going to be very different. And you have to go step by step. You can't. If you have to do that, then you have to have the site have call centers that can tackle Marathi calls and so on and so forth. There's going to introduce many layers of complexity into the business.
So you meaning don't want to give the franchisee, and I can make it on sitting in Alapi, sitting in Kerala. I can do all these things simply, easily.
It's not going to be you alone. This is not a business that you can do alone, right? First
Yeah,
and foremost,
I understand.
set to
With
build
the
a web.
technical people.
I mean, 250 rupees per vehicle per year, 50 cabs per month. This is not a very big business that any franchisee would be interested in.
Okay. This is only the initial things I am planning. That's all.
And then keeping all that
rupees.
routed and everything is going to be a nightmare. I just don't like this. I don't like the way you're thinking about this.
Okay.
I don't like the business strategy.
So how I can approach in a business model? How can I promote this concept to a business model? Can you suggest me to any other way through email?
I already gave you the suggestion of what kind of a business model I would use. 10% commission on the charges that you, on the bookings that you generate for your for the cars, for the cabs that participate in the network. And I would build a whole, I would build a full online presence and a mobile app potentially to do this business in as much of an online fashion as possible. And you have to learn how to do an online business. You have to learn how to do online customer acquisition for mobile apps, customer acquisition for mobile apps, and all of that stuff, which I suspect you don't know because that's not your business. That's not your background. But that is what this business is naturally, set up to be. That is the kind of business this is. There is a business.
A lot of people are now following this concept into their websites, tourism travel websites. Same concept. So I taken my trademark, return cabs. So I think it is. I want to do as a fast way to promote this concept to the public.
The operational complexity of the business, if you really want to do it at scale, is quite significant. So you have to think through all of those pieces and figure out a full strategy of how to do this business. Right now, I've given you some feedback, but in 10 minutes, I can't really teach you exactly how to do this business. I've given you some pointers of where you're going wrong. I don't think this is a franchise model. This should not be a franchise model. I've given you some guidance about what is the business model, what is the likely business model, what kind of a technical infrastructure you need, but that's about all I can do in 10 minutes. I'll need a lot more time to really coach you into getting to something that is a real business. Okay? But there is definitely a business here. There's no question about that.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to move to Tala. Tala, are you?
Hello. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
Very clearly?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Go ahead.
All right. Okay, so it's 1 a.m. in Malaysia, and the world has not ended. So I will just continue from the last time, actually. Just to give you a recap that I am basically making iPhone games, and to supplement my income, I also do consulting and make iPhone, iOS apps for other people. And at the same time, I'm maintaining a blog, which is supposed to be like a long-term kind of thing, which will also give me revenues as well as eyeballs for my own games. So today I'm calling to ask you a few questions regarding the games itself that I'm making. My first game, it is like 50% complete, and now I'm getting worried about distribution and stuff. So my first question is, are publishers necessary for making successful iPhone games? That's my first question.
Are publishers necessary for making a successful iPhone game?
No, I mean not for making, but for selling.
No.
Okay.
So on the iPhone App Store directly.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about the visibility factor, because many of the iPhone games I go and see in the store, most of them are done by some notable publishers like Chilingo and stuff like that.
Yeah, so if your game is something that a major publisher of games who has a lot of resources is interested in, then you have that option. But the iPhone App Store is full of hundreds of thousands of these games, and those get any interest from publishers.
Okay, all right. And then my second question is, what is a good pricing strategy? Should I go with free-to-play with IAP, or should I charge upfront? What kind of strategy is it?
Salat, how can I comment without knowing anything about your game?
Basically, it is like a modification of it. The game mechanics is basically a Pac-Man type, but it is like a reverse tower defense kind of game, which has various levels, distinct levels.
It depends on what is the competitive landscape for that particular game.
Okay. So basically, it is very specific. There is no general consensus on which one is better. Okay.
You can go talk to Tamir and see if Tamir is willing to put you in his.
Yeah, the PlayRock guy who is talking right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. One more question is, I'm leaning towards free-to-play games, but my question is, can I somehow also leverage the free gamers that I have? How can I take, how can I take advantage of the free gamers, people who are not buying anything? Is there any way to take advantage of them?
Look, I'm a very unfan of free. Okay, you cannot build businesses by giving stuff for free. You can give a little bit for free, but very soon you're going to need to convert. And if you go down the path of, this quote-unquote freemium strategy with 1 to 2% conversion rates, it's extremely difficult to build businesses. That's why in 1M1M, I generally ask people to start building businesses as soon as possible rather than give out lots of stuff for free.
Okay, one more thought about free-to-play game, that because this is my first game, so do you think it is better to concentrate on having a brand value and gaining more players for my game, so that I gain more visibility in the first game?
You're coming in with a game that has competition out there. You have to do a competitive positioning. If all your competitors are free games, then you have no choice. You're going to have to give it for free, in which case, which begs the question, why are you doing this game?
Okay, basically, one of the goals of my first game is to gain visibility. Make a brand so that lots of people install this first game, so that other game reviewers know about me. And my second game,
people will know about a free game, and you will get no leverage out of that with your next game. Zero leverage.
I see. Okay, all right. Okay,
people will not know who wrote this game. There's no way for you to tell them that, hey, listen, I wrote this game. This is a good game. You should buy my next game. This is not how game marketing works.
Okay. So, so what is the brand value of a game creator? Does it count?
If you become a publisher, that would count. This is the next game from a publisher. You design your game so that you can do cross promotion from one game to the other.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, that was my next question about cross promotions, because PlayRock was talking something about cross promotion. I did not quite get it clearly. So, what are the venues I can explore for cross promotion of the game?
In-game advertising is a common method that people use for cross promotion.
Okay.
And as you heard in an earlier presentation, Tamir was talking about a concept of cross-promotion of games.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. One last question from you regarding the. What the hell? Hello. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. I thought I'm done. Okay. My last question is, how do you see this iOS platform, its stability in 2 years? I mean, should I like really invest a lot in this? I mean, I don't know. I mean, how is it as a platform?
Are the two largest gaming platforms for mobile gaming.
Okay, but don't you think like? But would it in 2 years become in such a way? Would in 2 years will the situation be that only the big players can get visibility in App Store?
It's already that way.
Okay.
It's an extremely crowded platform. I think about 25 publishers make most of the money, most of the gaming revenue on iOS. But that doesn't mean that if you have a really so don't go with commodity stuff. I think what I'm hearing you say is that you have some very commodity little game which is not worth anybody's time, not your time, not my time, not any gamer's time. So don't waste your time.
No. My whole point is that I want to make really good games. I don't want to go with commodity games.
Yeah. So therefore, to do really good games, you have to. And if you can do really good games find their way up, and there are ways of marketing those games and getting reviews and building followings. All those strategies we deal with. And you have been actually a premium member for a year, so you have some visibility into how 1M1M works. So there are so we have plenty of app developers in 1M1M that are actually selling their games. We have $99 apps that are selling in the App Store and are getting ready to sell on Android. So it's not like you cannot build businesses, but you do have to build really good products. There's no question about that.
Right. Okay, that's cool. All right.
So we're going to spend a few minutes before we end on 1M1M and how to use the program and what resources to offer. Can everybody who's on the audio please mute your lines and not stream noise into the call? Thank you very much. Before we get into that segment, I'd like to request you to, if you like what we do here, this is candid feedback, right? You heard me give very candid, very honest feedback to, all our presenters. And why do we do that? Because there's no point in our telling you what you want to hear, because then you're going to go bounce around from investor to investor and get rejected. That doesn't serve anybody's purpose. What we're trying to do is to help you make progress and put one foot before the other and move in the direction of success as an entrepreneur. And that's what this whole platform is about. It's a safe environment where you can get feedback, take that feedback, use it to strategize and decide how you want to move forward. So if you like that mission and that environment, that honest environment, and if you have stomach for it, you have to have stomach for it. If at the first criticism your self-esteem falls apart and you get all defensive and all upset, then this is not the place for you. But if you can handle honest feedback, then please do refer the platform to other entrepreneurs. We are always looking for serious entrepreneurs. And as I said, the only way the 1M1M mission can succeed is if we can find serious entrepreneurs who have the mettle, have the resilience to stay with it, stay with projects that are going to turn into serious, successful businesses. Because it takes time and it takes a tremendous amount of sacrifice. You're not going to make a lot of money to start with. The sacrifice that we put in sweat equity is what eventually turns into serious amounts of revenues, profits, and wealth creation. But there's a lot of time that it takes to get there, and you need a lot of internal resilience to be able to stay through that period. That is what entrepreneurship is all about. I always say entrepreneurship is a way of life. All right, so resources-wise, our site is 1m1m.com. We have a blog that is extensive, and sometimes I refer you to case studies. Like today, I referred one of you to the tagged case study. It's a very comprehensive case study on a profitable social media company that is doing $50 million in revenue in exactly what the areas that Abraham was trying to focus on. So that's a case study that would be helpful for him to look at. And all these the entire blog material is free, and you can access as much of it as unlimited access, free of charge. Then we have the Entrepreneur Journeys book series. We have published 4 volumes where we have essentially synthesized our learnings from some of the case study work that we did and extracted nuggets that build up to the 1M1M methodology. Entrepreneur Journeys actually predates the 1M1M program. So we started synthesizing the methodology in Entrepreneur Journeys. You will find very concrete guidance on bootstrapping, very concrete guidance on positioning. These are important methodology elements of 1M1M. They're very core elements of the 1M1M methodology. And the books are available on Amazon and Kindle internationally and on Flipkart in India. The blog is at sramanamitra.com. Plus, we have these free roundtables every Thursday almost. This is, of course, the last one for the year before the holidays. This is our 154th roundtable. Over 15,000 people have attended these sessions. It's been a very successful and popular forum for entrepreneurs to get feedback in a safe environment. Then we have the annual membership fee-based premium program, the 1M1M premium program, where we teach extensively the full methodology of early-stage entrepreneurship in technology and technology-enabled services. We have a comprehensive curriculum to deliver that to you through video lectures and case studies. We help you with business development. We have private members-only versions of these kinds of roundtable mentoring sessions. You could call them strategy consulting, but it's basically where the interactive feedback gets passed on. We also have interactive discussion areas in our curriculum. And we help with financing if your company is fundable. We also do a lot of work in the media. We give you access to our media channels. And the whole program for unlimited access is a $1,000 annual membership fee. You could start working, kind of calibrating yourself by using the 1M1M self-assessment, which is on our blog, on our site. It's a 9-point questionnaire that asks you the kinds of questions investors are likely to ask you. That gives you good calibration. 1m1m.com is where you'll find all this information. You will also find description about the premium program, what to expect from it, as well as FAQs and video messages on the site. Our methodology is lean, capital-efficient, bootstrap startups. If you assume that somebody is going to pay you to validate your concept and do a lot of experimentation, that is not a reasonable assumption. You're going to have to bootstrap your way to some level of validation before investors are going to be willing to pay money, invest money in your venture. Please understand that that is the dynamic of our business today. The curriculum, we delivered the curriculum in 2 major chunks, and you should budget about 50 hours for the core curriculum, where you will learn 7 major topics: bootstrapping, positioning, market sizing, customer validation, financing, customer acquisition, and team building. And then you have the elective modules, which are Web 3.0 and e-commerce, cloud computing and business solutions, mobile and social apps, healthcare IT, technology, online education / educational technology, gaming, and outsourcing and consulting. These are our elective modules. We teach the curriculum, both the core and the elective, in case studies and video lectures. We have over 600 case studies that have been developed over the last 7 years by working with successful entrepreneurs who have very generously and willingly shared their success strategies. So 1M1M, in a way, is taught by over 600 successful entrepreneurs sharing their learnings with you. And that is unique, and that is incredibly powerful and inspiring for entrepreneurs to learn. That's pretty much it on the program. We do have an affiliate program, so if you are an entrepreneurship development organization somewhere out there in the world trying to bring your community up, community of entrepreneurs up, you're very welcome to work with us as a partner. And reminder, the deadline for the New Year Challenge application is today. So by midnight today, we're going to close out the application process for the New Year Challenge. So make sure you get your applications in. The application link is on your screen, and Maureen will put it on your on the public chat as well. And the upcoming free roundtables are January 3rd is the first roundtable of 2013. Then January 10th and 17th are the New Year Challenge finals, and January 24th and 31st are going to be our usual, business as usual roundtables. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the public chat to ask your question. Make sure you set the public chat to send to all participants. Questions, comments, observations, whatever you have, you're welcome to use the public chat right now. There you go. Maureen is giving you the New Year Challenge URL where you can apply for scholarships to the 1M1M program. And also, this is the public chat is where you introduce yourself. If you want to tell us about where you are, what you're working on, what kind, how did you hear about 1M1M, now is a great time to share with us. We want to know you. We want to know who you are and where you're joining from. How did you find out about us, etc. It's a networking platform as well. We see a lot of people, meeting each other and, Praveen Daryani, Santiago, Chile, part of Startup Chile, working on contentforest.com. That's awesome. Bring your friends from Startup Chile to the platform. We want to hear what's happening in Startup Chile. That's awesome. And by the way, we publish a recap of the session every time. Every roundtable we publish a recap, so you get a lot of publicity out of these sessions as well. Amit says he's with Tamir from PlayRock. That's awesome. CTO currently listening in Israel. Awesome, Amit. You have an interesting business for sure. Neeraj Harlalka says, India Director, UniWorld EduSoft, IT products and services company providing specialized administrative and learning management solution for the education sector. Great. What always fascinates me is the international nature of these calls. Today, of course, this session was specifically offered to Israeli entrepreneurs, and we often offer sessions to specific communities. And today, as a result, we saw a lot of Israeli entrepreneurs in the program. And Arlene Marom, whose quote you see here from Israel Startup Network, did a lot of work in publicizing today's event in the Israeli network. And of course, as a result, today we've had a lot of presence from Israel. And hopefully, Praveen, you are going to work with us to organize a session for Startup Chile. By the way, we are happy to organize custom sessions for Startup Chile as well. You should talk to Maureen and work with the Startup Chile organizers, and we'll be happy to organize a custom session for you guys. All right, so it's pretty much coming to the end of the session. I wish all of you a very, very happy holiday season and a happy new year. Yesterday we had our private roundtable, and I was telling all the entrepreneurs there, and I will tell you the same thing. Be sure to rest. Entrepreneurship is a marathon. It's not a sprint. We need a lot of energy over a very, very long period of time, and we are going to need to stay with each of our ventures through that time, and we need the energy. So definitely use the holidays to rest up a little and recharge your batteries. Neeraj says he's consulting a couple of business schools who would be interested to offer this to their students. Fabulous. We're very happy to work with business schools all over the world. All right, folks. Goodbye and good luck to all of you, and we hope to see you back here on January 3rd. And hopefully some of you will also apply for the scholarships. We only have another about 14 hours to apply, but if you find this interesting and if you'd like to apply, the URL is on your screen. Go ahead and apply for the scholarship program. Praveen, I do not know Mixergy.com. Unless they've pitched here, which I don't recall. We work with so many entrepreneurs, I don't remember all of them off the top of my head. I may have heard from them. If I have, it's in our recaps. You can go look on our site if we have covered Mixergy in the recaps, in which case we have seen it, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Okay. Do tell us, absolutely. We'd be delighted. And we are very interested in working with Startup Chile. Definitely let's organize a custom session with Startup Chile in the new year. All right? Take care, everybody. Happy New Year. For those of you who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, and Happy Holidays to everybody. Bye-bye.